We just got mooed at fairly aggressively too. scared up like a pterodactyl or something that made a whole lot of noise when it took off. I'm trying to figure out what it is. It's big, whatever it is. Nice little climb, got my heart thumping. Rewarded with a beautiful view. Still obscured by a lot of smoke, but still see some mountains out there in the distance. Well, we've been steadily going uphill for the better part of an hour. Very much looking forward to some flats or some downs. Slowly making our way up to 8,000 feet. If anyone's aware of a hike that's either flat or completely downhill, let me know. I think I'd be interested in checking that out. You can kind of see the trail right there that we just came up, and we still got a little ways to go. I think for the last 3 hours, it's been mostly up. A couple flat spots, but more often than not, we're heading up. Looking forward to the downs. When John and I hiked this last year in June of 2014, where the trail cuts over the top was covered in a snowfield that looked pretty sketchy to begin with. And if we would have made it to the top, this is a pretty hairy looking cornice that we would have had to punch through, so we skipped that. So we ended up climbing mostly hands and knees all the way to the top of this, which was certainly a character building experience. But no snowfields in August, so we're good to go. 8,200 feet. Easiest piece of trail we've seen in a little while, so trying to open it up to make up some time. The southwest junction. Seems like we've been chasing this for about 3 hours. Finally Windy Saddle. Heading home. All right, we're heading west now, and we got some downhill. Very much liking that. When we hiked this last year, it was night and day different than it is now. John and I hiked this in June of 2014. We were among the first people to hike the trail in its entirety that year. And there's sections of the trail that were completely underwater. I mean, water was not an issue. This late in the season, now it's August 2015, everything's dried up. I don't know if Idaho was hit with a low snowpack year like Washington was, but water's been pretty unreliable. Map shows that we're probably about a mile away from a reliable river, so we're keeping our fingers crossed. We'll get some water there, but we've been pushing probably pretty close to 8 miles without a water source. So note for next time, tank up. Well, we passed several what should be water sources, and they were all dried up. There's a couple lakes that we walked past, they were also dried up. Thought we had really were in a pretty good position to make it to another water source with what we had, but probably should have grabbed an extra liter. When I hiked this last year with John on this section of the trail, we saw a lot of predator scat, and it just occurred to me, Eric and Bobby are way ahead of me. If there's any predators out there right now watching, they're going to pick me off as the weak one in the herd, so I probably better step it up. Making the final 8-mile stretch home. Learned from yesterday, we're packing out more water. It's been pretty dry so far. We'll see how it goes, but I'm willing to bet from looking at the map and the conditions we've seen so far, at this time of the year, 2/3 of this trail doesn't have a reliable water source. This is an example of what the conditions are like right now. This is on the map as a reliable stream, and obviously not a drop of water to be seen. This section of the trail, as we're heading back north to Windy Point, is considered to be the least scenic part of the trail, but for what it is, it's not bad. And if it wasn't for all the fires going on right now, you have some pretty good views of the mountains, and occasionally you would be able to get a peek of the Snake River. But as it is with the smoke, this is not going to happen today. Since we've left the Dog Lake Trail junction, that was the last water source that we've seen. It's been pretty dry so far. A couple streams that are on here that are reported to be reliable streams are dry as a bone. So normally in the Cascades, I rarely carry more than like a quart of water, but here we decided to tank up just to play it safe, because yesterday I don't think we were really in danger, but walking completely dehydrated and with a dry mouth is not exactly a fun experience either. I've already killed one of these. I just topped that back off, and I had this 2-liter bladder right here completely full when I left camp. We're almost halfway back to the trailhead, so only about another 4 miles to go. This is Cannon Creek, so this is a reliable year-round water source about 4 miles away from the junction to Dog Lake. Eric and Bobby stopped for lunch back by Cannon Creek. I'm marching on. Those two are the gazelles of the group, and I'm the shameless slowpoke. So this will help us make better time to get back to the car. Wasn't all that hungry anyways. One little rule of thumb that I try to stick with is whenever we get split up as a group, anytime I get to a trail junction, just stop there, regroup, make sure we're all tracking on the same sheet of music. before moving on. There aren't, off the top of my head, I don't believe there's any more trail junctions before we get back to Windy Ridge. But there is like a cow camp up there and a couple roads. It wasn't immediately clear to me last year when we hiked this which way we're supposed to go. So unless I see a trail junction before then, I'm gonna stop there and wait for them, or they'll catch me, one of the two. Well, last year we saw a lot of predator scat, but it was more along the lines of wolves, coyotes, and mountain lion. Haven't seen any of that this year. Plenty of evidence of bear though. This is Bridge Creek, another reliable water source. This is what we were seeing a lot of last year. I'm not a poopologist, and just to clear the air, I don't have a poop fetish, but you know, it's nice to know what kind of animals are in the area. And we see a lot of this kind of scat last year with a lot of fur in it. So probably coyote, could be mountain lion. I've been told that there's wolves back in the area. Can't say for sure. Haven't seen any of them, so don't know. All right, past Bridge Creek. Start my uphill climb to the trailhead. About another mile, a little bit more than a mile maybe, and then we're done. Getting towards the end. So a livestock camp up here, surrounded by electric fence. Don't pee on that. Came up from over there, little livestock camp right there, and we're heading up the trail. This is where we got confused last year. Trail there, trail there, trail there, and a trail there. I think we need to go that way though. A couple more 100 feet of climbing, we're almost there. Pretty view to finish it off. We just got moved at fairly aggressively too. And done. This is the place to go to for a post-hike hamburger. The second year in a row that I've been here, and the food is fantastic. And the nice thing is you get to stay outside, so you can be all funky from the hike, and nobody looks at you twice because it's a well aired out area.